Honor Blackman walked onto the Goldfinger set in 1964 with one demand that shocked everyone. She refused to be just another pretty face. But what happened during filming almost made her walk away forever. Sean Connery thought he knew what to expect from a Bond girl. He was wrong. The tension between them got so bad that crew members whispered about it for years. There were real fights, real bruises, and a moment when Honor broke down crying to her agent. The truth about that day stayed hidden for decades. Honor Blackman came into the world on August 22, 1925, at 200 Cumberland Road in Canning Town. She grew up in a small terraced house where the walls held warmth, but the times stayed rough. Her parents, Edith Eliza and Frederick Blackman, did their best while raising 4 children in a neighborhood still recovering from the shock of the First War. Life felt tight, money felt thin, and the street outside often carried more noise than comfort. Then the Second War arrived, and everything became even louder. Night after night, the Blitz shook their home. Sirens screamed, windows rattled, and her family huddled together in the dark while bombs fell not far from their roof. Somehow, she learned to stay calm. Somehow she learned to hold herself steady while everything shook. At just 15, she already had a strength that came from living through fear without letting it break her. For her 15th birthday in 1940, her father offered her a bicycle or elocution lessons. She chose the lessons. That choice opened a door she never expected. Her teacher introduced her to poetry and Shakespeare and helped her discover a voice she did not know she had. Soon, she was studying part-time at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. She worked at the home office during the day to help her family and traveled long distances in the evening just to reach her classes. Some nights she arrived tired, but she never stopped. By 1946, her voice had become sharp and clear, and her acting had solid shape. Still, she struggled because many agents dismissed her East End accent as too common for refined roles. Even so, she kept going. Around the same time, she worked as a motorcycle dispatch rider for the Women's Transport Service. She was only 16 in 1940 when she began to ride through bombed streets on Triumphs and Royal Enfields. Rain, rubble, night roads, air raids, she handled them all. She carried messages that could not wait. She moved fast and stayed brave. Those rides shaped her in ways she carried for the rest of her life. Later, when she played Kathy Gale in the Avengers and threw opponents with judo, that same steel showed through. She had earned it on real streets, not film sets. By 1946, something finally shifted. She got her first West End opportunity with The Guinea Pig at the Criterion Theatre. She stepped in as an understudy when the lead actress fell ill. The fear almost overwhelmed her, but she went on stage anyway. Her performance surprised everyone. Producer Alec Clunes noticed the poise she held, even while shaking inside. That night gave her a real start. More roles followed. The Gleam, The Blind Goddess, each one steadying her step in the world of theater. Then, in 1947, she joined the Rank Organization's Charm School, a polished training program at Pinewood Studios. Long hours, strict rules, endless lessons in etiquette, dance, fencing, and posture. She earned only £10 a week, less than many working-class jobs. She shared the program with young talents like Diana Dors and Joan Collins. Rank wanted to shape her image and her choices. She wanted freedom. Still, the training sharpened her skills and gave her a place in the industry. Her film debut came in 1948 with Daughter of Darkness. She played Julie Tallant, a dark and unsettling character in a story that shocked British audiences. Her performance earned a BAFTA nomination and marked her as someone unafraid of deeper and stranger roles. The same year, she worked on Fame is the Spur and played Lady Anne opposite Michael Redgrave. Critics praised her for the precision she brought to a role that challenged class expectations. It was a step toward something larger. But life outside film began changing too. In 1948, she married Bill Sankey. She was 23 and he was 12 years older. The romance began fast and burned bright at first. Then his jealousy surfaced and cast long shadows over her days. The marriage strained her spirit and made her rethink how much of herself she was willing to lose for anyone. When it ended, she walked away with more caution and a deeper understanding of her own worth. Her work kept moving. In 1950, she appeared in So Long at the Fair. She played Rhoda O'Donovan and delivered a mysterious note that shifted the entire plot. Her small role carried weight, and critics noticed. A year later, she appeared in Quartet, playing Nina in the Facts of Life segment. A kiss and embrace in that scene caused trouble with the censors. They cut close-ups and shortened the moment. But her performance stayed memorable. People called it modern, raw, honest. By 1958, she stepped into light comedy with The Square Peg. She played Leslie Cartland, chasing Norman Wisdom through trenches with energy and charm. She laughed about the role years later, saying it felt too stereotypical, but she still made the character shine. That same year, she took on something far heavier with A Night to Remember. She played Rose Harris on the Titanic. For realism, the production filmed at Ruislip Lido at 2 in the morning. The water was freezing. Some actors refused to jump in. She did not hesitate. That scene earned her deep respect and showed once again the grit she always carried. Yet, the late 1950s brought new struggles. Rank began to decline, and she left after appearing in 15 films. Suddenly, there were fewer roles. She turned to television work, often playing tough girls and femme fatales in crime series like The Vice. She kept getting typecast and kept fighting through it. Some weeks the work felt thin. Some months the fear returned. But she held on. Each role kept her career alive long enough for something bigger to arrive later. In 1959, Honor Blackman stepped into an early moment that shaped everything that came after. She guest-starred in The Saint and played Pauline Stone, a jewel thief who moved with such smart confidence that people couldn't look away. She feuded with Roger Moore in one scene, and the duel felt real because she had trained at the Guildhall School in London. Viewers loved it. Critics said the scene had a spark that made it stand out. Rumors quickly followed. People whispered that she and Moore were getting close off camera. They said they saw them leaving late at night and sharing quiet smiles in between takes. This chatter pushed her name higher, and it all happened before the episode even aired in September 1962. The buzz had been growing since 1959, and the role became the first big push that showed she could handle crime, tension, and action with ease. Soon she stepped into something bigger. Between 1959 and 1960, she filmed 10 episodes of The Four Just Men. She played Nicole, a multilingual spy handler who slipped through Paris and Rome with steady calm. The show shot real car chases on real streets instead of inside a studio, and she jumped into the chaos without hesitation. Her French and German helped her improvise lines that made the scenes flow naturally. There was one day in Rome when she had to leap out of a moving car in Piazza Navona. Traffic kept ruining the shot, so they tried again and again until she got it right. Critics admired the realism. Producers noticed how she carried herself. Audiences started seeing her as the kind of woman who could run toward danger instead of away from it. That shift mattered. British television had barely given women such roles before, and suddenly, she was turning those limits into something new. Then came 1961, and an episode of The Invisible Man. She played Elizabeth, a psychic investigator with a sharp mind and a quiet intensity. The special effects team needed contact lenses that made her eyes look strange and ghost-like, but the lenses were rough and experimental. They caused irritation so bad, she ended up hospitalized for a short time. She spent nearly 12 hours a day wearing them. Her eyes turned red. Her head pounded. The crew worried about her, but she kept working until the episode was finished. It aired in June 1961 and became known behind the scenes as both a technical challenge and a test of her endurance. She stayed committed even when it hurt, and it showed what kind of actor she was becoming. Everything shifted again in 1962 when she became Kathy Gale on The Avengers. She earned the role after showing producer Leonard White a judo move that stunned him. She was 36, and she trained with stunt coordinators for hours. Learning flips and throws, she performed herself. There were no doubles. She hit the floor hard again and again until her arms and legs turned black and blue. The studio taped the show live, so mistakes stayed in. The leather outfits she wore caused arguments at the BBC because officials thought they looked too daring for television, and some markets edited her scenes. Still, she held her ground. She shaped Gale into someone confident and sharp, a woman who didn't wait for permission to take control. As filming continued, she pushed even harder. Writers sometimes tried to soften Kathy, but Blackman refused. She wanted her character to be intelligent and independent. In the 1963 episode, The Removal Men, Gale beats Steed in a fist fight. That moment hit people like a shockwave. It challenged ideas about what a woman could do on screen. Some viewers complained. Some regions even banned the episode, but others saw something new. They saw a woman who didn't step aside. Scholars later wrote about it, calling Gale one of the first proto-feminist action heroines in British television. That scene showed how far Blackman was willing to go to shift an entire culture. Her image grew even sharper over 43 episodes from 1962 to 1964. Kathy Gale became known for her black leather catsuits, not as a gimmick, but because normal clothes ripped during judo scenes. Leather held together. The look shocked people. US censors banned some episodes, calling the outfits too suggestive. Yet millions of British viewers watched, with numbers reaching around 12 million per episode. Women across the country signed up for judo classes because of her. She argued with producers about how her character should be seen, and she fought to keep Gale strong. She stood in a spotlight that made some people uneasy and others inspired. In 1963, she took the strength she had built and turned it into a book. She co-wrote You Know What I Am, a self-defense guide filled with the judo moves she had learned for the show. It sold 50,000 copies, a huge number for that time. People were shocked that she taught women how to fight back instead of stay quiet. Newspapers called her unladylike, but she pushed forward. She believed women deserved to protect themselves. Her message reached women who had never imagined learning such skills, and even though critics tried to dismiss her, she became a symbol of something changing. That same boldness took on a lighter shape in 1964 when she and Patrick Macnee released Kinky Boots, a novelty song inspired by Kathy Gale's footwear. At first it failed. It barely touched the charts. Then in 1990, during a revival of 60s culture, BBC Radio 1 played it again. Suddenly it climbed to number 5 on the UK singles chart and stayed there for 7 weeks. She earned more than $100,000 in royalties. It outperformed her Bond earnings and turned into one of those surprising moments where something forgotten returned with unexpected power. Behind the scenes, she showed a softer side. She cared deeply about animals, and her compassion shaped some episodes. In Death of a Great Dane, Kathy Gale goes undercover in a dogfighting ring. That storyline came from Blackman's real interest in animal rights. She adopted rescue dogs and donated her TV appearance fees to the RSPCA. People admired the contrast. On screen, she was fierce. Off screen, she was gentle and protective. By 1964, the Avengers was preparing for a major shift. It would move into color and push toward the US market. The show was about to grow even bigger, but she felt tired. The same kind of roles over and over started to wear down her creativity. She told Patrick Macnee she needed something different. So she left the show, even though it was reaching global momentum. That choice changed her path again. In 1963, she had already made a bold call by choosing television over a West End revival of Private Lives that would have paid her around $1,000 per week. She took a guest role on Kraft Mystery Theater instead. It aired in October 1963, right before she became Kathy Gale. Filming delays had held the episode back for months. Some say the delay almost kept it from being seen at all. But when producers connected to the Bond franchise saw her performance, they became more interested in her. During the same period, she appeared in Jason and the Argonauts as the goddess Hera. The filming schedule was harsh. They shot in Italy under heat that climbed to 40 degrees and worked 12-hour days. Her costume was so heavy, it caused back pain and dehydration. The animated skeleton fight that took 4.5 minutes on screen required months of work from the effects team. She and the other actors had to repeat movements endlessly so the animation team could match everything. She pushed through the exhaustion and even bonded with her castmates during late-night talks on mythology. That shoot tested her physically and emotionally. After Season 3 of The Avengers, producers even planned a spin-off film for her and Patrick Macnee. It was designed to appeal to American audiences. ABC had invested $1 million into the show, but budget cuts canceled the project weeks before filming in December 1963. That setback hit her hard. She auditioned for a Broadway role in The Sound of Music, but lost the part to Mary Martin, who was 42 and considered too old by some critics. Blackman did not let the disappointment slow her down. She found new agents and kept pushing. Then came January 1964. She quit The Avengers right as it was about to expand with color. Ratings were expected to reach 15 million viewers. She was 38, the oldest actress ever offered a major Bond girl role. Producer Albert Broccoli and director Guy Hamilton chose her for Pussy Galore after seeing her command the screen in The Avengers. Leaving a hit show for a single film was seen as a major risk. People in the industry were stunned. She said later that everyone around her was startled, but she felt the Bond world would take her further. She negotiated her contract with a kind of strength few women showed in 1964. She demanded no nudity. She wanted equal bonus pay to her male co-stars. She trained in real judo moves and even flipped Sean Connery during rehearsal, shocking the crew. Her choices set a new standard for actresses who came after her. When she left, the Avengers gave her a nod in their 1965 Christmas episode, Too Many Christmas Trees. Steed receives a card from Kathy Gale and wonders aloud what she might be doing at Fort Knox. Fans loved the reference. It blended her old and new worlds in one simple moment. Even after Goldfinger made her famous, she dealt with deep anxiety. She admitted she cried to her agent because she feared she had betrayed Steed. She thought she had ruined her career. But Goldfinger earned over $124 million worldwide, and its success lifted her into global stardom. Looking back, she understood that every risk she took carried fear right beside it. On June 2, 1964, at Pinewood Studios, The barn felt warm and dusty, while Honor Blackman and Sean Connery stepped into their scene. They did it without stunt doubles. No safety swaps, no soft tricks. Just the two of them throwing real punches and real throws. Blackman had a black belt in judo, and she moved with a kind of calm power that surprised everyone watching. Connery tried to keep up, but by the end of the shoot, he walked away with real bruises. The back lot was filled with photographers because everyone wanted a glimpse of this strange mix of elegance and violence. Variety later praised her and called her the toughest bondwoman because she matched Connery in every way, not just with strength, but with attitude. Bob Simmons arranged the action, yet even he admitted she insisted on doing the moves herself, which gave the whole sequence a lifelike force that Bond films almost never had at that time. Then came the shower scene between Bond and Pussy Galore. And something unexpected happened. Honor added a small line on the spot. She whispered, "You can try." It shifted everything. She made the moment less about flirtation and more about a challenge. Almost like she was meeting him as an equal. Later, many people looked at that scene and said it showed a rare kind of agency for a woman in a Bond film. The writers Richard Maybaum and Paul Dane had crafted the dialogue, but it was her improvisation that turned it into something iconic. That scene was shot in June 1964, and it kept coming back in discussions about power, identity, and the way women were portrayed on screen. When Goldfinger released in July 1964, it exploded worldwide. More than $124.9 million at the box office, $51 million in the United States, and $73.8 million in international markets. The whole film cost only $3 million to make, which meant its return was massive. Blackman earned a Golden Globe nomination, but in 1965, she shocked everyone by refusing an OBE. She said the monarchy felt hypocritical, and that accepting an honor from an institution she did not believe in would go against her values. That moment caught the British public off guard. People talked about her decision for weeks. It showed her strength was not just physical, it was moral too. In 1964, she also recorded a playful parody called Pussy Galore Meets James Bond. The song climbed the UK charts and turned into a fun sensation. But in the United States, conservative radio stations banned it because they felt the lyrics and the character's name were too suggestive. The ban only made her reputation stronger. Reporters said the song had turned into a cultural lightning rod. She joked later that the ban probably made her more famous than the movie itself. But not everything on set was smooth. There was tension between her and Connery. She admired him, yes, and she even admitted he was tempting, but she often criticized his womanizing reputation. She also disliked his later tax exile knighthood and called it selfish. Those comments strained their friendship. During press tours, they clashed, and their natural friction added a certain spark to their scenes. Interviews and documentaries kept revisiting this tension for decades. 4 years later, in 1968, she starred in the Western Chalaco filmed in the dry Spanish deserts. She played Lady Daggett, a sharp and fearless aristocrat, alongside Connery and Brigitte Bardot. The action scenes were rough. She rode horses at high speed. She fought back during scenes where she was stripped, choked, and buried in sand. She stayed strong through all of it. The shoot was tense, especially when she argued with director Edward Dmytryk after he made cuts that made her seem silly. She pushed back and demanded changes. Her scenes improved because of it. Critics said she looked even more vivid than Bardot and that her near-death sequence shocked audiences. Then came Something Big in 1971, a comedy western. She played a cigar-smoking cowgirl opposite Dean Martin and Brian Keith. She was funny, sharp, and completely unlike the usual women in westerns. Kidnapped one moment and outsmarting outlaws the next, she held her ground with charm and wit. But the movie flopped at the box office. The Western genre was fading by then, with many films canceled or pushed to TV. Still, her performance stood out as one of the few times a woman refused to be reduced to a damsel. That same year, she returned to the big screen in a horror film called Fright. She played Helen Lloyd, a babysitter hunted by her unhinged ex-husband who escaped from an asylum. The violence shocked audiences. There were scenes with strangulation, shattered glass, and suffocating tension. Some feared it was too intense. Her on-screen kiss with her real husband Maurice Kaufman only added more rumors about their shaky marriage. The film had mixed reviews, but it shaped the future of horror. Many films borrowed its lone babysitter theme and its tight, claustrophobic fear. In the 1980s, she stepped onto the London stage for Wait Until Dark. She played Susie Hendricks, a blind woman who must outthink intruders. The play ran for almost 2 years with more than 200 performances. Her emotional depth came from a real place. She once injured her eye badly in the 1950s and carried the fear with her. Critics said she delivered one of the strongest versions of Susie ever seen. From 1990 to 1996, she played Laura West in The Upper Hand, a modern woman, divorced, raising children, juggling everything. Her real life was tangled too. After her 1975 divorce from Kaufman, she fought long and painful custody battles over Lottie and Barnaby. The pressure nearly ended her career. She often worried that she had failed her children. Still, she poured all that emotion into Laura, and viewers connected with her honesty. 6 seasons came and went, each one showing how deeply she could blend comedy with warmth. In the 2000s, she brought her voice into new worlds. She played Queen Anahita in a Doctor Who audio drama in December 2011 at the age of 86. Fans praised her. She sounded powerful, almost regal, like a time lady with wit and strength. Around this time, she also became a strong opponent of animal testing. She spoke out publicly about cruelty in labs and connected her activism to the values she carried since playing Kathy Gale. In 2010, she published her memoir Honors and Honors with stories fans never expected, including surprising behind-the-scenes details from the Bond set. Her personal life carried its own storms. Her first marriage to Bill Sankey began in 1948 and collapsed by 1955 when she discovered he had drained her bank accounts through fake business schemes. The stress led to a nervous breakdown and months of therapy. In 1961, she married Maurice Kaufman and adopted Lottie and Barnaby. They could not conceive, but they built a family anyway. Still, as her career grew and his slowed, the marriage weakened and ended in 1975. After that, she chose freedom. She dated, but she never remarried. She always said independence mattered more to her than anything else. Then, in 2012, she appeared in Cockneys vs. Zombies. She was 86 and still fearless. She played Peggy, a fierce pensioner who fired a machine gun at zombies like she had been doing action scenes her whole life. The clip went viral. Her younger co-stars admitted they were stunned. The production team said her energy felt real, not performed. People loved seeing her in full force at that age. Honor Blackman passed away on April 5, 2020, in Lewes, Sussex. She was 94. Her family said natural causes and noted that dementia played a part. Tributes came from everywhere. William Shatner called her his favorite Bond girl. Piers Morgan posted a message that went viral. Millions of people watched Goldfinger clips that week. Fans shared memories online, and her family spoke of her as a creative and resilient soul who loved deeply. In the 1990s, she surprised people again by refusing reunions for Avengers and Bond celebrations. She said they felt like nostalgic cash grabs, and she preferred looking ahead. In her final interviews, she confessed one regret. She wished she had directed. She had mentored younger actresses like Uma Thurman for fierce roles in films such as Kill Bill. She wanted to push the next generation forward. She also felt disappointed by how the industry treated older women, and in 2002, she refused a CBE because she believed accepting honors from a monarchy she opposed would betray her own values.